Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender. It's your boy A Davis coming to y'all on this Tuesday morning. It's been a while since I done a done a Pels in the Blender episode, man. So appreciate everybody who like, subscribe, still support the channel, support the page or whatever. Um, Man, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I just kind of want to have like a little fun episode. This one ain't necessarily about the Pels, even though it kind of is in a sense. I more so just want to talk about like the my thought is like one of the things that I'm really excited about with the NBA season coming up. I think the NBA has done a good job with like parity, right? And like all of the teams now are like kind of forced to being able to compete or have some form of interest or like good storyline to a degree. And that's kind of what I miss most about like the NBA of old. Like you used to have like really good storylines in the NBA. So I kind of miss those days of the NBA. And is this player going to be able to get over the hump? What new stars are going to come, like, are going to be available? Like, you done finally had a couple good, like, classes of rookies back to back, or projected back to back. Players are moving. LeBron's going to a new team. There's a whole bunch of, like, new movement. And as far as like the Pelicans go, right? Like Zion looks incredible. How is he gonna look? Are they getting ready to blow it up? So there's their own stories there. Like a couple teams are on like the last window. Some teams are trying to like jump into competing in their window. So it's a bunch of different like storylines for the NBA in general. And I kind of just want to go through some of those. And I'm kind of trying to decide which games I want to go to during the season as far as like my travel games, right? So I figure if I like kind of work through it, do the episode about it, it's kind of going to help give me a little bit of clarity. Then I can kind of reflect back on that and see which games I think are going to be most interesting. So the first things I kind of like to think about is like who's my favorite players and who I want to see. And like obviously I'm a Pels fan at the end of the day, so everything is gonna start like with my games and how I view the Pelicans and which games I want to see. So first up, I go to almost all of the home games anyway. So like if I don't go on the road to see a team, more than likely I like prioritize to see certain teams in the building, right? And then some teams like the bigger teams, I don't always have to like see those teams in New Orleans. Like the frustrating part sometimes about being like a Pelicans fan, especially against good teams, is normally when you go to a game, like obviously you want to win. But the issue is when we play good teams, especially the last couple years, we've been getting like destroyed the last couple games, like the last couple times. So like sometimes when you get like it's hard to just decide which games you gonna go to because you don't know. Like if, for example, if you a Steph Curry fan, right, and you in Golden State, if you in Golden State, you like, dog, I gotta see. Like you could go to damn near any game because any night Steph Curry could be Steph Curry. It could be a legendary game, any game. He could have 40 and 50 and it'd be a game where Clay maybe go from 8 threes, 12 threes. Like any game could be a incredible game or like like a more memorable kind of thing. That's the thing when you got stars. Like when you on a team like the Pelicans, it's a little tougher. That's one of mine for sure. The DQ versus Hawks matchup in circle. Got to show out against the draft picks that guys that was traded for. So that's another one of the things that I look at too when I'm looking at like my matchups and what games that I gotta go to. So the first ones I wanna go through is like the ones in the blender that I for sure gotta be at. The ones I for sure gotta be at. Opening day, gotta catch opening day. Gotta catch opening day. That's like probably the most optimistic game. And I hope it's at home this time than on the road. But like the most optimistic game you're gonna have all season is probably like, especially if everybody healthy, is the first game of the season. Well, what's good, Mike? Appreciate you. If Joe truly believes in Zion, he should try to improve the roster this offseason rather than wasting more time. We gonna see, bro. We gonna see. I ain't gonna lie. I think I think we gonna stay packed, or they gonna just make like a minor move. I'll be honest. So I don't know. We'll see. But the funnest game to go to, other than like playoff games and stuff, or like if the season is rolling, like if the team is good, then it's different. But the most optimistic game is like the first game of the season in the blender, if everybody like healthy and good to go. I think this is gonna be probably the most optimistic that we're gonna feel all season. So that's to me, I don't care who they play. That's a game that like I'm 100% gonna be at, right? Because again, you going into the season, and if the first game of the season is at home, almost it don't matter who they play. You get an opportunity to start off with a win at home. You get to see what the offense look like. New coaching staff, Zion, Fears, everybody playing the first game at home. I think that's the best way to get the season off to a good start. So I'm hoping this year the first game is at home. For me, that's a must-watch game. And if I gotta choose which team that we play to start the season against, honestly, I'm hoping our first game is against a team like Minnesota. I ain't gonna lie. Like I would love for like to open our season. It probably won't happen because you're gonna get like we'll probably end up with like a mid-level team or something. Like you might end up with like a Portland type game or something like that. But it'll be because Ant on opening day is probably gonna go against like Ant and LaMelo. They're probably gonna open their season against like Denver or Houston or something like that, right? They're gonna like try to stack up big names. That's what I see. That's what I thought. Like if you got Ja versus Z, because that's what you did last year. They did it in Memphis, but you had to go to the Memphis. So do Z versus Ja on the new team, this time in New Orleans, opening day. I think that'll be a good game, to be honest. And that's probably like two Portland finished the season better than us. Obviously, they made the playoffs, but then you got Drew back in New Orleans. They got a new coach. The Pelicans got a new coach. So I think it'll be a good test for both teams kind of starting off the season. So, like, if I could start the season and, like, if I was creating the schedule, I think that'll be a dope game. Both players trying to, like Zion trying to kind of get the Zion era back going. You trying to see what Ja look like. Dame will be back next season, too. So then you got Dame coming back. So that's going to be, you know what, that's a good one. I'm going to write that down. I ain't even think about that until we started, like, talking it out. But opening day, Ja versus Z in New Orleans, that'll be a great game. And I think you'll have, like, fire attendance for that one for sure. Boy, you remember the year we blew Brooklyn? Dog, I ain't gonna lie. That's the 40. That's not the 40. Was that the 49-year win season? When we went on the road, dog, on the road, in Brooklyn, KD, Kyrie, I think Harden was there too. Oh, it was the year before that. Dog, when I say they bullied them dudes, they straight bullied Brooklyn all game in the paint. We was like, oh yeah, this team looked like it could be special. I think people forget how important, in my opinion, how important opening day is and like getting off to a good start, good energy, good chemistry. Like, I think if DeJounte don't break his fucking hand against Chicago in game one in this like season opening, that was a really good win. And you immediately taint that win with DeJounte breaking his fucking hand and about to be out for weeks, months or whatever. Then you go to then I think we went to Portland. Game 2, you go to Portland, CJ, and then you get that game. Exactly. If you lose, exactly. If you lose game 1, especially if it's at home, it don't matter. If you come out game 1 and get like a good win, like a comfortable win against a decent team, as of right now, you don't know which team are gonna be bad teams in the beginning of the season, right? So like we think, for example, if they got like a Charlotte, you'd be like, it was only Charlotte, even if you do win. But it's kind of like if you get a decent team at home and you win, you beat Portland 1, that's a game that you like. Every game matter in the NBA. People be like, it's 82 games. These games don't matter. No. All of those games matter, especially for teams like the Pelicans. So, like, if you got an opportunity to open your season, get the energy, the crowd, when people still believe people gonna be at their highest and you win those kinds of games. No, so I personally I don't want OKC, which you ain't gonna OKC not playing fucking New Orleans on opening day anyway. You're gonna have like, again, what did they do last year? Was it them versus Indy? So, but you're gonna have like all of the top teams kind of gonna match up for like NBA opening day. So us getting like a team like Portland is gonna be ideal. Like we gonna get one of those kinds of matchups. So I'm looking for something like that. Like that's a game that you go to and like that's a, to me, opening day, I don't give a fuck what you say, is a must win. That's a must win. It'll be like Knicks for sure. Oh, absolutely. The finals rematch, you're gonna get those for sure. So like I'll be thinking also about like what games do I want to go to on the road. So like when I'm thinking about like my travel games, because I'll travel, especially depending on how like the games line up. So I've been to all of the places I've been to see the Pelicans play. I've been to when Brandon, like the first year we got Brandon here, Brandon and Lonzo, I went to the Pelicans LA game in LA, the Lonzo Brandon return game was at that game versus LeBron them. I've been to the game winner, the fucking Zion game winning layup against the Spurs and Wemby in San Antonio. I went to that game. What other games have I been to? Like I've been to what other games have I been to? On the road, I'm talking about on the road. I think that might have been like the only two like big games I've been to on the road. But I'm trying to add to where I'm going. So like this year, I plan to go to the France game. So that's a game that's marked down for sure. Right. Also, other games I won't go to on the road, Pels Mini on the road, right? Like we always see, you watch on like TV how great Zion plays in Minnesota. That's one of the games that I kind of want to be at, like in Minnesota, Pels. And I kind of want to see the matchup also of like how, depending on how Ant and LaMelo are gelling, like if they playing really well, I want to see you got snowshoe. Dog, I'm about that. I'm about that. So like, and again, you don't know, they play them so many different times during the season. We don't know when that game gonna be, because again, what I'm hoping for is, because last year we ended like the end of the season with them, but we was out of fucking playoff contention, so the game ended up did not matter. What I'm hoping is depending on when that game is when I'm a schedule to go to it, right? But that's one of the games I'm for sure going to next year. Another game I want to go to next year is the Pels versus Orlando Magic, the Mosley return game. I think that game gonna be fire. One, we never beat Orlando. First, two, Paulo, I don't know if y'all seen the video of Paulo and how Paulo was looking, him working out with KD and Chris Brickley. He looked like he done lost some weight working on his game. He looked like he gonna be incredible. So I kind of want to see the Zion versus Paulo matchup. Can we get over the Orlando hump, right? And then normally when you get the Orlando, you get the whole Florida road trip, right? So you'll probably get them versus the Magic, and then you'll probably get them versus the Heat. And I also want to see us, like I never been to into the Miami arena, so I would love to go to like when they make the trip, catch them against Orlando, the Mosley game there, and then Giannis in Miami. So those two games are like Pels games for sure that I want to see. So like I don't have to see the Giannis game because we don't really have no stake in playing Miami at all. It's just one of those games. It's kind of like, well, if you already in Orlando, you might as well, if you can. And it don't have to be Giannis versus us. Like I'd be willing to take the trip to Miami and see Giannis versus whoever is around. And then sometimes you wind up luckily getting like good games. I don't know, people like go to NBA games a lot, but for the most part, for like random NBA games, ticket prices really don't be that bad, right? They really don't be that expensive. So if you went to like on a Miami game and you was trying to watch Miami versus fucking, I don't know, Dallas, whatever, and it's Cooper Flag or something, it's like that wouldn't be a bad game to watch. So that's those like right now, the 4 games, and I know like opening day, home games, I'm not really gonna count because I go to most of the home games anyway. So I'm mainly talking about like road games that I wanna go to and like kind of experience. Looking for Pels tickets certainly help prices if you were a Lakers versus if you're exactly like if you a Pels, it don't matter where we play, like tickets ain't over like, and I ain't talking about, I'm talking about like decent tickets, be like $50, $60, something like that. If you was willing to spend $100 for a ticket, no matter what arena, you could sit in a very decent spot for $100 almost anywhere you go. So like if I'm going to Miami to go see fucking the Heat versus the Pelicans, realistically, you could if you talking about just getting in the building, like you could get in the building probably for like $30, something like that. Another road game I want to see just because I really want to see the arena, and it's gonna be interesting if the Kawhi BI trade go through, is us versus the Clippers. One, shout out to Miles, my partner Miles. You heard me. He a Clipper fan, and we've been talking about going to LA for a little minute. So we like, and I would love to like his misery of us in their new arena, being able to beat his team, getting the win over BI. Like that just seemed like a real like fun game to go to. Personally, talk a little shit. And like I said, I've been to, well, was it Staples or was it Crypto when they first made the BI trade? I don't remember. I think it was still Staples at the time. I'd have to go back and look at the picture, but I think it was still Staples. I don't think it turned into Crypto to a little bit later. But like, so I want to go to, so that's probably a game. Matter of fact, let me write that one down. So I think that's a game that I want to go to on the road. So like my road games, Minnesota Pels versus Mini, right, in Minnesota. Pels versus Orlando, the Mosley return game. Pels versus the Clippers against BI, like not Z versus BI, Trey and all versus BI in LA in the new arena. Us versus Atlanta in Atlanta. I just want to see DQ and Fizz, not Fizz to a lesser degree, but I do want to see Fizz versus Fleming. Like in that matchup, Fizz got to put belt. Like we lost both games to Atlanta last year, and it just kind of looked like not only did they take our pick, but they were better than us and took our pick. They like it just last year against Atlanta, that shit kind of pissed me off. And it's easy, like flights to Atlanta don't be expensive at all. So you talking about like maybe a $40-$50 flight. Like I'd be willing to do like a quick one day, to be honest, like fly there in the morning, eat, catch the game, double back. Whoa, I'm about that. Listen, I'm down. I got people that stay in Atlanta too. So like I'm definitely gonna catch the Atlanta game. Hit me up. We'll set that up, bro. Appreciate it. But I'm definitely gonna catch the Atlanta game because again, I want to see us. And then CJ over there now. CJ wasn't on the team when we played him. When we played him last season, I think he was still in Washington because he didn't get the deal. He didn't get moved until later. So now you got the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Atlanta Pelicans. They got CJ, they got Dyson, they got Nikhil. Especially if we end up making a move for whoa, appreciate you, bro. Absolutely, man. This ain't even like no important episode or nothing like that, dog. We just shooting the shit on what's gonna be like some fun games to go to, like exciting matchups around the league. And like how you figure out the travel for people that do want to go to games, and like if you a Pels fan wanting to travel to games, or if you just trying to go see other games in general, how that typically work. And like I think the NBA done a good job this season as far as like the parity. And bro, this season I think is gonna be, while I don't think that there's many true great teams, right? Like I think there's a bunch of good teams. That's how I feel. I feel like there's a bunch of good teams, but like OKC might be great. Oh yeah, I forgot all about Buddy Hill. So damn, they got Buddy Hill, Nikhil, Dyson, CJ, I ain't gonna lie. If we end up making a move and getting Kaminga and Kaminga come here, that'll be interesting as well. So like that game in Atlanta, always that game will be dope to go to. So I kind of want to see that, and I need not only do I need us to win that game, but like I need Fears and DQ to play well that game as well. Like I need you to win, and I need Fears to look significantly better than Fleming, and I need DQ to just look like better than. I don't even know if Asanua going to be playing, probably, but I need those two. I need your two rookies to look good, and I need us to get that win. So Atlanta is a game for sure. So that's my fight in the Spurs. The Spurs, like just because like everybody gives the Spurs, in my opinion, way too much credit. Not saying that they weren't good, but we play that team relatively well. Zion versus Wemby is always a good matchup, and he plays really well against that team. So realistically, I'm probably gonna end up seeing us versus the Spurs. Well, no, I'm not going to see them in San Antonio if I'm going to the France game. So let's look at it that way. So I already had the Spurs since they play in France. That's actually better than going to the fucking going to see them in San Antonio, because it's gonna be more of a home game for the Spurs in France with the country behind Wemby, and you still got the matchup of Fears versus Dylan Harper. And for all of the progression that Fears has made, like I got a whole list of team like players and stuff that I want to see him. Exactly, Zion, bro. And if Zion look like what, like again, shape game wise, if he has the kind of season that he's hoping to have, like he gonna go at Wemby. He go at Wemby, and he play well against him all the time anyway. But in France, if Zion made or what we think, like you should be trying to show out in that particular game. So I'm gonna be like, dog, I'm in a couple of games, like I'm gonna do my plan is to do like video logs for him for the channel and stuff like that too. So like opening day at the Blender, we'll do like a full video thing for that. The France trip, we'll try and like document all of that too, and we'll have that experience, that game experience for the channel as well. So like be on the lookout for that during the season, and like probably other like road games and stuff that I'm talking about going to. So like those my Pels games that I like gotta make, right? So I got 5 games: Mini, Orlando, Spurs, Atlanta, and LA. So like that ain't bad. And as far as like travel time, and then the NBA season going on for a while. So like, bro, them fucking games be on like Tuesdays and Thursdays and Wednesdays. So even from a travel standpoint, like you can almost always find cheaper flight tickets and stuff like that if you want to go about it that way. So like from the Pels aspect as well, before we kind of like transition away from them to a degree, the games that I'm also interested in is if Fears and Queen, right? Because the 2 rookie classes from last year and this year are supposed to be two, like, well, I ain't supposed to. We've seen like the Cooper Flags, Dylan Harper, VJ Edge come up. Like last year's class was a relatively good class. This year's class, based on how them dudes looked in the summer, look like they're gonna be cold. I want to see our rookies versus last year and this year's class. So you know DQ and Cooper, you know, played together and whatnot. And then so I want to see like DQ versus Cooper and see how that matchup is. Those games have always been like, not always, but like the games that we played Dallas last year, all of those games were exciting. Kyrie should be back. They got Najee over there. So DQ, ain't no one in this class gonna ever be better than me. See what I'm saying? You gotta go show that. You gotta go show that. Especially like Cooper gonna be battling DQ to a degree, but DQ gotta outplay Morez Johnson. Morez or Mortez. Either you gotta outplay Johnson. They new draft pick, right? And that dude looked like a dog. So you can't go like again, nobody's expecting DQ to play better than Cooper or to be better than Cooper. I think Cooper gonna take another step. I think Cooper is like truly a franchise player. So like I'm not expecting DQ to look nothing like Cooper. That don't mean you and Fierce can't play well in that matchup and try and look like the best rookies in the class also. So like the Dallas matchup is one of them games that I'm like considering going to. And as far as like Dallas go to, another game I want to see is like Dallas versus Washington. Like I don't know, I'm trying to decide. I get like 2 or 3 games other than like Pels games that I think about going to. So like how I would want it to work out is if possible, like I would love to be able to catch the Dallas versus Pels game. And if somehow, ironically, it worked out the way Washington was going to play them soon, because that's another game I think I won't go to Dallas to see, because you'll have number one pick versus number one pick, which is going to be a big deal, right? You got Cooper versus AJ, and then you got Trae Young versus Kyrie, which is a nice little, and then you got Saar versus Johnson. And then, bro, realistically, when you start playing it out, like that's a pretty legitimate, like star power kind of matchup. So that one should be like I think I kind of want to see that one. So let me start at like the rookie matchups for that is gonna be kind of dope. Another rookie matchup that I thought about that I think gonna be really good next year is the Dallas 5 versus the guy they traded Luka for, the Dallas 5. Oh, man, I forgot all about AD. I forgot all about AD. I forgot AD was even in Washington when I thought about that. That's a really good point. AD back in Dallas. So now you got that little element of it as well. No, I think Washington gonna be a good team too. I think Washington gonna be a good team. If you could get AD to stick around and buy in, I know he said at the Fanatics or Summer League, he trying to play 82 games. We know he ain't playing 82 fucking games, but that game actually will be dope. So you got AD returning to Dallas, Kyrie versus Trae, Cooper versus AJ, and then you still got like Trae Johnson on the team. They still, I don't know if you still got Najee, you got Morris Johnson, you got Alex Saw. So like that's actually a really good matchup. That's an interesting one. I might have to fucking start that. That's probably a dope game. And I imagine that game not gonna be expensive at all. It might be, but I don't know. I guess it depends. I'm gonna have to like price check that one and see. Another one I was thinking about was the Spurs, because I like to see the top picks versus each other. So then you got the Spurs versus Utah, right? And you got Peterson versus, and then they should be like point guards too. Peterson versus Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper looked legit his rookie season going into year 2, and Peterson looked like he got the goods. So you'll see Peterson versus Harper. You still got Ace. Like, what does Ace look like in another step? And then you got Wemby, but it's not like you just got Wemby completely outclassing people. They got Laurie. You still got Triple J. What do Keontae George look like in like his like Keontae George versus Stephon Castle? So like I think the Spurs versus Utah, and then everybody got these high fucking hopes for Utah this season. Everybody's expecting Utah to truly compete, right? So how does Utah look in a matchup against the Spurs? I think those kinds of games, like the Utah versus Spurs game, end up being like games where like you kind of could see I think they'll compete, and that might end up being, if that, let's say both of those teams make the playoffs. I know people picking Utah to make the playoffs. I'd be very interested to see if Utah could give the Spurs a run. Like if they, because one of the things that the Spurs did in the regular season, the Spurs like dominated the OKC matchup during the regular season. If you play a team like Utah, let's say Utah beat the Spurs, do that give Utah the confidence to like do really well or run in the regular season, or like if we match up with that team, that's a team you end up getting eliminated by. So like that's one of the interesting things about like the regular season also. Then you got Memphis, Philly, because you got Memphis. I'm interested. I don't think Memphis gonna be that interesting. I think they're gonna fly under the radar all season. So like I think Cam Boozer just kind of gonna be in. And I'm like, I like to see what's your boy, Caleb Wilson. I like to see Caleb Wilson, but like I'm not overly like I think it'll be cool, but like he's one of the rookies that I'll just catch whenever Chicago come to the Pels. Like I'm not willing to. I don't think I'm willing to travel, even though I think he gonna be really really good. So like that's like I think two of the rookie matches from last year to this year throughout the league that I think is gonna be really good, especially when you look at the teams around them. So the best two is probably Dallas and Washington, and then Spurs and Utah. As far as like the teams are good, they got top rookies. Everybody else is kind of like they got other players around them that should be able to compete. So those games should be like really good games. I think the best like most the rival games, I'm definitely going to see Bulls when they come to Atlanta. I want to see Caleb Wilson home. Man, I forgot he was from the A. Another thing you gotta worry about, not worry about, but like that's always interesting is like players that get traded during the season or players making like they homecomings. Like when Ant go back to Atlanta, like typically when Minnesota play in Atlanta, Ant try to like ball out. His family be in the crowd. He try to have like great games in places like Atlanta. Hope like if Zion against Charlotte, ideally you'll see them try to play well in places like that. Stuff that's another one too. So like my like top season matchups that are, like so again I might travel for one of these. I don't know which one, but I'm interested to see Steph versus the Knicks. So like Golden State versus the Knicks, Steph versus Brunson, but in New York, right? Like it's Brunson because Brunson kind of becoming the new like king of little men, like the little players or whatever, like little small guards. But Steph Curry is still fucking Steph Curry, right? Like if you had to choose right now, would you say Brunson is better than Steph or Steph better than Brunson? And then if you were to say Brunson better than Steph, Brunson better than Steph, then you already know what Steph gonna try and show up in LA and prove a point. Like on that state, dog. That game probably be expensive as hell. But Steph in the Garden price exactly. Steph in the Garden that's probably like a $300-$400 ticket. Especially not like the Knicks tickets in general. The returning NBA champion Knicks at the Garden, like with Steph, Karl Anthony Towns, which is also why I was hoping, and it don't seem like it's gonna happen. But dog, if Brian went to Golden State, and I would probably try to make it a point to catch like 3 or 4 or 5 Golden State games. I would need to see like if he chose like wherever Brian plays, whatever team Brian chooses to go to, I think him versus LA is a game you got to consider. That's going to be like a marquee game. But if he was on the team with Steph, bruh, that fucking Golden State shit would be like it would be rock star like every game that they played. And honestly, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But Steph and Madison Square Garden against Brunson is, I think, gonna be, if they both healthy, I think arguably gonna be one of the best games of the season. Like one best games of the regular season. So like that's one of my top games, and my like one of the games that I truly I want to see, but I don't think it's gonna have the same. It's definitely not gonna have the same hate. But I would love to see Miami when they go back to Milwaukee, the Giannis return game. Though I hope Giannis go out there and try and fucking dominate. But then you got Tyler Hero, if Tyler's still in Milwaukee, but Tyler versus Bam after the shit that took place in Vegas just kind of like raised the stakes of that game. So you already know how Spo was treating Khalil Ware. That game is gonna have like from a rivalry standpoint, from like a new hate. I was just about to say, are they gonna throw batteries at him like the Heatles? Brian, dog, when Brian went back to Cleveland, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. I don't think they gonna treat him like that. That's another one too. Portland, nah, dog. When Ja go back to Memphis, Ja and Memphis, because see, they still love Ja, but like I'm interested to see anytime a player go back to a team that they traded. It's interesting to see how the home crowd react to said player. I think Ja gonna get love. I think Milwaukee gonna get love, right? Like they gonna get their video tributes and shit like that. But like players return to New Orleans, like Anthony Davis still ain't got no video tribute. So like that's a good one too, though, Mike. Like the Ja back in Memphis, that's one to consider. And I guarantee you that game ain't gonna be expensive at all. Like I just can't imagine Memphis game tickets being expensive. So we might be able, I'm gonna put that one down. We might be able to go make that happen. Memphis versus Portland. Giannis actually won that. That's the thing too. And he kind of like Giannis won in Portland. He did bring a championship to Portland. Like the Portland, he didn't just be like, supposed to stay and then left. You kind of been preparing for Giannis to leave Milwaukee for a couple seasons. But see, the second Bam punch Tyler Hero in the face is hate. Is hate. Like if I'm Milwaukee, I gotta boo that. Ain't Tyler from Milwaukee? Tyler from Milwaukee anyway. So like now you kind of got like the hometown hero back in Milwaukee against the team that shipped him out. This dude punched out my like our hometown guy. Nah, fuck that. So that game I think is gonna be like an intense like hate level game. I don't think it's interesting to see like how many like hate level games they gonna have in the league as of right now. I think that's probably one of the only ones because people feel like they kind of got done dirty. I'm interested to see Lakers. That's another one I got. Brian. That's why I say Brian and whatever Brian versus Luka and whatever team Brian on. Like if Brian and so Brian JB back to Boston. That's gonna be hate. That's gonna be hate. That's probably the most hateful game in the season. And I'm we might have to catch that too. Like in Boston, and hopefully Tatum, like again, players gotta be healthy. But if everybody healthy, you already know Jaylen Brown gonna be out to prove a point that he better than Tatum. And you still got Maxey, VJ. If Brian choose Philly, right? Let's say Brian choose Philly back against Boston. And then right now, who do Boston have other than fucking Tatum and Derek White? That ain't enough. So that the JB back to Boston, Brian against I got that on the matchup too. Indy versus like Spurs OKC. I don't think like I think OKC gonna have smoke for the Spurs, but I don't know if the Spurs Knicks, like the Spurs Knicks is probably gonna be one of those games where it's like it's hate. And you only get two of those. So like Spurs Knicks in Madison Square, or like Knicks in what did they finish it off? They finished it in San Antonio. Oh yeah, that's true. Wemby and Chet. Yeah, Wemby and Chet, that's true. And SGA kind of got to get some get back, but his demeanor like super cool. So you don't really know how he gonna go. Philly Boston is probably the Christmas game. You know what? I can see that. So I can see like how many games they do for Christmas. It's normally like what, like 6 games, 5 games, 6 games. So I could see Philly Boston for Christmas. Oh my gosh. Philly Boston. I could see whatever, LeBron, whatever team he on versus the Lakers Christmas Day would be insane. Like, especially if he chose Cleveland, the team that he left LA for, that he went back to the home team, and then you got Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Mobley and all of them. So like if he choose Cleveland versus the Lakers, that'll be a good game. To have. Whoa, what's good, bro? Man, we just shooting the shit, talking about the NBA season and games games gonna be fine. Another potential Christmas Day game, or another game that I always want to see, is Luka versus Dallas. Luka going back to Dallas will forever be, I don't give a fuck how far away, until he leaves LA. Luka versus Dallas, and I hope he go to swinging that belt against Dallas every time he get an opportunity to play them. So Luka versus this version of Dallas, and Kyrie being back and healthy, and like Brian officially out the way. So now it's like clearly Luka's team. So that would be a good one too. You know what else I could see being a Christmas Day game? And I'm OKC Spurs. I could see either OKC Spurs or OKC Knicks. But OKC versus Spurs would be a good one. And then Knicks versus Golden State. Like if you got that Knicks versus Golden State matchup, that would be a good Christmas Day game. You know you got to get them. You probably going to get Houston because Kevin Durant. Who the fuck would they play? Who would they play? You think Minnesota, Houston, Minnesota? That don't feel like they gonna have Kevin Durant, but that matchup don't feel like, you know what, maybe them versus Miami. Houston versus Miami. I can see that. You get Giannis versus Kevin Durant. The team seem about even. That seemed to make for a pretty good game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what, you probably got one more game? So then you probably end up with like Minnesota versus Denver. Oh, that's actually a good rivalry game too. Minnesota versus Denver. Because they didn't eliminated them from the playoffs the last couple times they played. You got Ant and LaMelo versus Joker and Murray, the late night West Coast game. Do you think they would take an East Coast team and put them and have them play? Because you could do the Knicks Golden State in Golden State. The Knicks Golden State in Golden State, or you could do Brian return to LA versus Luka in LA. You could do that. Christmas will be popping if that's the lineup. You got Jaylen. If you did Jaylen Brown return to Boston, and then you got OKC and the Spurs, LeBron return to LA, Steph versus you got Houston versus Miami, and then you got Minnesota versus Denver. I think that's a fire Christmas lineup. You'll watch any of those games. That's all going to be. I think those are all like good games. I think they're going to emphasize the Kawhi return of the Clippers too. Shit, Kawhi gotta play. That's what I'm interested in seeing. If what they gonna do with Kawhi based on like, is he gonna be allowed to play this season? If Kawhi allowed to play, I do think Kawhi return to. I don't know if that's gonna be Christmas Day worthy though. Yeah, I was about to say if his contract not voided, like if if that go down, right, and he is allowed to play, Toronto is gonna be a team that you see, but they still not interested though. Like Kawhi names, but they team night. Like, don't nobody really give a fuck about Scotty Barnes like that, in my opinion, or RJ Barrett. Like, you care about Kawhi, and Toronto gonna be a good team, but I don't know. Maybe they think about Detroit, so you can see like Cade versus somebody. Yeah, I don't know. So another thought when I think about like the NBA season is like games you want to see or like interesting teams or whatever. There's teams that are good and are going to be good in the NBA this year, but I just don't give a fuck about their season, right? Like, I think Denver is going to be a really good team, a good regular season team. You got Joker and all of that, but I don't really care to go see like Denver play. Like, I rarely, like, I watch their games, but I rarely care to watch like Denver games. Like, these are the teams that are like good, but like not interesting to me. Jordan Poole and Jordan Hawkins being traded for Gafford Thompson in Washington. But you seen that? You reporting right now? If you're reporting, let it be known. Are we speculating? Are we speculating? I don't know, man. Dog, I ain't gonna lie. I got a feeling that they're running it back. I ain't gonna cap. I got a feeling they're running it back. They don't even do they have roster spots to do that? They got roster spots to do that, but I just don't think they're gonna move off of the expiring right now. I just don't think they're gonna do it. But like teams that's gonna be good, but I just don't think it's interesting. Like Denver gonna be good. I want to say Detroit gonna be good because Cade is, I think, a good player. But I would not be surprised if Detroit take a step back this season. I think OKC obviously gonna be good. Like, I wonder, do you think Detroit could fuck around and miss the playoffs in the East? Like, with Indy being back, Atlanta being more competitive, we'll see what happened with Boston. Cleveland gonna be competitive. All of that was, I don't know. Take all my bad players for your good players trade. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, so take Jordan Poole, Gafford, Clay, and PJ will be a better team. That would be a huge deal for us, to be honest. If we were to do something like that. What's the plan on center? Eve's gonna be your starter. I think Eve's gonna be your starting center. And then we'll see, which is why like the Pelicans really not gonna be that interesting. Like, I'm a fan, but I don't think like as a team the Pelicans are going to be interested unless a couple things happen. Unless Zion look phenomenal, Fears take an incredible step, right? In the Pelicans finished last season, somehow followed up when I was in. Yeah, like if Zion is incredible, that's gonna make them interesting. If like one of the rookies takes like a step, that might make them a little interesting. Or if Trey like looks, take another step as well. Like, if not, realistically, like, I'm a fan of the team, but they're not gonna be interesting to talk about. And then it's not like Mosley's style that he plans on playing is just like a fucking, exciting style of basketball. Like, they're gonna be defense first, they're gonna get out in transition. But like, it's like Orlando was never just like a fun watch, right? So unless Zion take his game to another level, or Zion trade Fizz, they got to take their game to another level, in my opinion, for the team to look exciting. And Poole would have to like return to some form, like to some kind of form for the team to have like some excitement. So like, other than being like a fan, unless they make a move or two, and then like even the moves that they make, like let's say they added Peyton Watson, they would probably be a better team, but they're not gonna be like entertaining or interesting to fucking watch. Like that part is gonna be tough. They just don't have like that. Like, other than Zion and Fears, they don't really have like that style of player. Cade is the man, but their big man situation is the mess. That's another. So like Detroit, I'm interested to see, like, because even if they bring Duren back, unless they give him the money, like Duren gonna be pissed off. And then you signed Paul Reed, who's more like you kept Paul Reed, who's an offensive guy, like John Collins. Like they ain't really, unless they rookies ball out, like they're gonna be a good team, but like I don't know though. Like Detroit is one of those teams that I think like come back to the pack a little bit. Come back to the pack a little bit. OKC gonna be good, but that shit gonna be boring to watch. Also, what would need to improve from each rookie last year to make a difference for the team this year? For like fears. So like for fears, in my opinion, it's not just necessarily about like shooting per se. Cause like I can say, all right, like, yeah, you need to shoot better. But I think a player like Fears just has to be to have like a impact on like to be able to have an impact on the game. So like if to this point, if he finishes the way he get, like he can easily get to the paint, right? Like nobody's really getting him, keeping him out of the paint. So like if he finishes better at the rim, I think it'll make him a better player. But like the reason I think him finishing would be because it would just make more impact on the team. Like if he, for example, let's say he shot the 3 ball better, right? I don't think him shooting the 3 ball better because I don't think he gonna get up like a crazy number of threes. You get what I'm saying? Like I think he averaged what 4 or 5, maybe 5 threes a game. So like even if he shoot like 6 threes a game, like he not gonna shoot 50% from the field. So you talking about like 2 for 6 or 3 for, you know what I'm saying? 3 for 6 or something like that. Not that that's bad, obviously, but if he finishes at the like lives at the paint, that like changes everything because now it collapses the defense. He could get to the paint at will. Like you kind of gotta account. Like if him and Zion, the way they finish at the paint, Zion 60% in the paint, and Fears can like live at the paint, then that means he's living at the line as more and ones. Teams are in the bonus. So like for Fears finishing in the paint, that's a big one, bro. Like if he can finish in like up his finishing, then all of that sounded crazy when I like played it back in my head. Pause for that one too. But if he can like finish at the rim significant, yeah, that was extreme. My bad, y'all. Yeah, that was a like a big, like honestly, if I go back throughout this show, it's probably been a bunch of them that's been crazy. So we just gonna live in the pause free world for right now. But just know it's like an underlying pause for what's been said. That one was a bit extreme. I almost had we kind of had to pause that one. But for Fears is that for me, for Queen, for Queen is rebounding. Is rebounding. Like if Queen can become a better rebounder, offensive rebounder and defensive rebounder, I think it changes a lot because I think Eves is gonna be okay, and he always battles on the offensive glass, and I think he'll do a little bit better on the defensive boards. But if Queen can rebound, that'll make the defense better, like to keep teams from getting like one opportunity, like to keep teams at one opportunity. It'll allow him to have more control over like the game when he's on the floor. If he's able to rebound, he'll do a good job of like getting putbacks and stuff like that. So I think for Queen is rebounding for sure. Like if he can get his rebounding, he averaged almost 8 last season. If Queen became a double-digit rebounder or close to a double-digit rebounder, I think that's what those two things for the rookies would make them a much better team. Like Fears being able to finish his layups and Queen being a better rebounder, I think would make this team significantly better. Do I think Z MVP window is closed? Woo, that's tough to say, dog. I ain't gonna lie, because for Z to be an MVP, they would have to be like one, they would have to at minimum be like a 4 to 5 seed. First off, at minimum, you got to be a 4 to 5 seed. unless they do some shit crazy and just be the 1 seed. Like if they were a 1 seed, 2 seed, then you damn near gotta give him the MVP because of the expectations of the team. So whoever like, and you just can't see that. You can't even see that happening based on the roster. So like, he would either have to average like damn near 30. Yeah, he'd have to be like in the scoring. He'd have to average 30, or he'd have to be like Brian level efficiency, like 28, 8, and 8 kind of numbers. 28, 8, and 8, top 3 seed, top 4 seed, something like that. Like compete, like doing it, like he gotta have highlight level plays, and they would need wins against like good teams as well. Like in the 49 win season, they won 49 games, but they didn't really have, in my opinion, they had a couple, but they didn't have like signature wins. Like you need to have wins against at least one win against OKC, a win against like the Knicks, a win against like the Spurs, a win against like Denver. Like you gotta get wins against the other quality teams other than like the teams you beat. Like you beat Minnesota, you beat the Spurs, but like if you beat the Spurs like 2 times and then you beat Boston and you beat, the Knicks, and you like those kinds of wins and you look incredible, then I think you'll have a run. But Z's MVP window would be, dog, Shea, you just know Shea gonna average 30 and they gonna be like a top seed again. Unless they deal with some kind of injury. So he gonna, and then Jokic is just Jokic is damn near like a walking 28, 30 point triple double, which is always gonna be tough. So you gotta look on that level. Right? Your numbers don't have to necessarily say, but you gotta be like 28, 8, and 8, couple 30-point games, 40-point games. You gotta average 30 for like a month type shit, back to back, triple doubles. Ooh, that'll be tough. That'll be tough. But again, who am I to say? I don't know if he could be in the MVP window. I think he could be an All NBA player for sure, though. I think Jordan Poole in seconds for Miles Turner, and we run it back and we'll be fine. I'm not doing that. I ain't gonna even cap. One, because I'm not giving up my expiring $34 million for just Miles Turner, and I'm not throwing seconds in for that. Now, if you talking about Jordan Poole and seconds for Miles Turner and Rollins, something like that, you all right? You could talk me into that. Miles Turner and Rollins for Jordan Poole and some picks. All right, cool. Queen should want to be Barkley, undersized forward, just knows the right place. Yeah, and listen, Queen, he's not like athletic, but he got Queen got a decent game to him. Like I think he has a decent floor game. If the shooting, shout out to y'all, man. If Queen's shooting improved, I think it helps. But again, his rebounding is what's gonna set the tone for him, in my opinion, because if he rebounds and then rebounds against most teams, that means you could get like early outlet passes, and you ain't gotta bring that bitch up the floor every time. Rebound, early outlets, get you some easy assists, or you'll be able to kind of get you some putbacks, get you easy layup, easy buckets. If he rebounds better, like you can see Queen's scoring average going up as well. Like if Queen averaged like 8, 9 rebounds, I'm willing to give him like maybe 4 or 5 more points to the average just on putbacks alone. Yeah, like full court, like being able to throw the full court pass, bro. Like, and then I think they'll be better in transition as well. So you'll get like easy assists just being able to rebound the ball better. So you're talking about if he was a better rebounder, right? Last year he averaged 11 and 7. If he was a better rebounder, and let's say that number was 9, right? 8 or 9 rebounds. First off, you damn near started if you averaging 9 rebounds. That's first. Second, you talking about the scoring numbers going to, I don't know, because you'll probably get fouled on some of your putbacks, so you probably shooting more free throws. You get more assists on your outlet passes. Think about like if he's offensive rebounding, kick out for three, so you probably talking about your assist numbers going to 5 or 6. I think Queen, bro, is to me is all gonna stem from him being a better rebounder. A better rebounder, and that'll be it. I believe I'm more optimistic this year than last year strictly because of the coach. And I think we left 10 winnable games out there. I agree. And the interesting thing, like with the league, is that again, I think there's gonna be, because there's more parity, I think there's gonna be a bunch of good teams because of the tanking rules. I don't think you're gonna see teams tanking at all, at least until like towards the end of the season, where you might see some teams start off and like kind of start to come back to the pack a little bit. That's not really where the Pelicans are gonna exist. So like you have to come out there and do your best every game, in my opinion, because it will behoove you to find yourself damn near play, like trying to get in play contention, because if you and Milwaukee, if both of those picks somehow jump in the lottery, like you get both of them, which you only can do by not being a bottom team. So if you're like a middle of the pack or damn near playing team, that's really the best position for you to be in. So I think they get closer to like 36 to 40 wins this year. I got them anywhere between 35 and 40 based on the roster right now. And that also depends. I'm willing to adjust that depending on how Zion looks, how Fears looks, if they improve on what they say they need to improve. Zion needs to be more demanding. He's too passive. Absolutely. And what I hope is that they demand it. They demand it. His best game is easily the 40-point playing game where he got hurt. I think that game and the Minnesota game are the two best games I think I've seen him play from a competitive standpoint. The Minnesota at home, when I think they went to overtime, he had 43. Well, again, was getting blocks, couldn't be stopped, hit a fucking 3. Like he just, when he got in those modes where like you can't be like, y'all can't stop me and I'm relentless, which is what you saw in the playing game. And like towards the end of that season, he was just on that will not lose mentality, right? And I understand like you can't play every game during the regular season like it's fucking game 7, but you damn near need to for this team to be that level of good, right? Favorite Zion game, like on TV, I've been in the building. The game that I've been in the building, I was in the building for the 43 overtime game where Zion was just going crazy. That's probably no. Did I go? I don't remember if I don't think I went to the playing game. I don't think on TV. My favorite, the 43 is one of my favorite. The 43 against Minnesota a couple years ago is my favorite game. The playing game and the year after we lost in the playoffs, versus the Suns, the 360 windmill game is one of my favorite games too. That's one of my favorite games too. Just because after the game, like you heard Z being like, nah, like, dog, that's the Zion that I like. Like, they eliminated my team. It was like, fuck that. Like, we on their tops. Like, that Zion is my favorite Zion. Like, the we at y'all Zion is my favorite Zion. And I hope he can, like, manifest that mentality all season next season. Like, this season felt very passive. And I think that's why it resonated throughout the team. Like from the beginning, you saw that. That's why you see multiple games where he not the 13 shots and shit like that. There's no game, in my opinion, that Zion is like, we refuse to lose. where he shoots the ball 12, 13 times. Because in certain moments during the game, you always would see him just, man, let me go get a layup. Let me go drive and create for somebody. Or like, always, let me go get to the line. Certain things that Zion was just willing to do that star players do. You got to go be a star, bro. Like, you can't settle into like the role. Like, you're not a role player. You're not a role player. You can't put yourself in role player mode. Like, that shit not cool. I'm so being in the building for the 4 threes game, like that probably was electric. And at the same time, had to have been one of the most frustrating moments, like, to be a fan in history, because he playing, come back, going crazy, hitting threes. Then I think they came back, took the lead, and then it was like, all right, go sit down, bro. You're at that minutes threshold. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Let this dude take over and become the star we know he could be. Like, let's let him catapult the franchise in the right. It's like, oh, because he tried, like, in that game, in my opinion, the 4 threes game, you come back, take the lead, you winning, and like and then when they sit him down, it's more like, exactly, you set the tone for the rest of the way. It's like, nah, we gonna try and protect you and do. It's like, no, bro, go fucking be great and show why you're great. Because if you was gonna sit him down, if that's the case, you should have waited to put him in. So he, and that's that always been like one of the things with like the management of Zion. It's like, bro, so you gonna put him back into the game where his minutes don't coincide with the last parts of the game, which means you didn't think you was gonna win to begin with. You didn't think you was gonna win to be able to come back into that game. That dude was that impactful, bro. That impactful. The league looks like it's starting to get back to more physical. Do you think they'll make Zion more dominant? He shot a good bit of free throws last. I think so. What I think makes Zion more dominant is if he comes with the I'm playing physical mindset, right? I think they're gonna have like a physical defense, right? I think that, and this is why I think throughout the league they're gonna have a chance to be okay. If you look at when OKC transformed and started becoming what they became, the Spurs when they started transforming, Detroit when they started, it did happen defensively. But what most of those teams do is like, you know what? Fuck it. We playing defensively and we fouling you anyway. We fouling you, we pushing you down. We're going to be the bullies. And we don't care if they call it or not. Just get to the point where it becomes a norm and you doing it so often to where the referees start to adjust to, well, that's just how they play. And they allow you to play that way. That's how you get, you get away with more stuff. Iman Shumpert talked about this on one of the posts before. He was like, if we play intense defense and we picking up full court and we being physical all game, then the refs tend to be like, oh, all right, that's just the way that they play defense. That's the way that the tone being set. Y'all, the other team has to adjust. The issue is if once you like start playing fucking weak and you be like, all right, I'm gonna try and pick it up now. Well, when you try and pick it up, the team like, nah, you can't be physical now because you down. It's like, no, you gotta set the tone and do that shit from day one. That's why if I'm Zion, if I'm driving to the paint, bro, like if you're gonna take a charge on me, and I know he get fouled a lot anyway, he gotta go in there like I'm from like opening day, I'm running people over. So where like y'all either gonna have to foul the fuck out of me, like one of us gonna end up hurt because I'm truck sticking you, or whoa, what's good, bro? What's good? Appreciate your time. Either I'm truck sticking you or you gonna get the fuck out of the way. One of the two. And if he do that consistently, his life gonna be a lot easier moving forward. Like think about like if y'all like football fans, dog, them dudes ain't want to tackle. Y'all remember Brandon Jacobs for the Giants? like Mike Allstott for the fucking Bucks. When you see them dudes coming, if you just consistently running with that style all the time, man, people getting out the way, dog. Ain't nobody trying to deal with Zion coming to the paint with that level of fucking force, especially if he not trying to go around you. He not trying to go around you. I'm running you over. That need to be the mentality. Like, and he's skilled enough. I'm not saying he don't need to shoot jumpers and do all of that. Yeah, all of that's cool. Expand your game. But if they fouling you, bro, like you're strong enough to get anybody out the way. And let's see how many of these you gonna take a game. Because let's say somebody fouling Z and they're not calling it. Well, okay, you run that person over the first time. They might give you the charge. If you run that dude over again, even if you get 2 fouls, that's 2 fouls that's worth it. They're gonna have either that player gonna be like, I'm not taking these fouls most of the game if he gonna do this all fucking game. If he on this type of time all game, y'all gotta switch somebody else on the Zion because I just can't do that. Brian got out the way. Not many people took charges. Ain't nobody taking no fucking LeBron, no prime LeBron charge, especially when he was flushing on your ass. He'll still flush, and then Z'll flush on you. Dog, get them little dudes out the way. They better not try and guard you with no little man or fucking take no charge. Either that shit need to be a poster or you knocking people down. They already hacked out in the soft rule area. That's not gonna change them. Go get your free throws, dog. With your free throws. What you be doing with the pencil? Dog, I legit be taking like notes. I don't know if y'all can see it, but like I legit take notes throughout the games. But like throughout the pod, my bad. So I like, as we've been talking about, because we was talking about the games earlier where you want to go. Like I done wrote down all of the games I kind of want to go to. So like just throughout in general, like when we do like multiple pods, I record. Dog, shout out to y'all in the chat, bro. Y'all like knowledgeable, like what we be discussing. So like sometimes I'll get like show ideas. I write those stats, like trying to record like certain stats or like write like what I done wrote down so far, like the Dallas Washington. We was talking about Dallas versus Washington. Memphis Portland being the opener, Ja versus Zion, the opener. Some of the rookie games I done wrote down what we talked about. Fears being able to finish at the rim, because that's something that I thought about. But I was initially, my thought was he need to be more impactful through his playmaking, right? Like just having like more control of the game. But when you think about it, him being able to finish is a better, like one of the things that if he improved that the most, whoa, what's good, bro? Appreciate it. That if he improved that finishing the most, it would, I think, take his game to another level. So that's what the pencil for, bro. I legitimately take notes like as I'm talking, things that we discuss throughout the show, shit like that. Missy and Queen need to get stops. They need to get they need the fucking rebound, bro. They need to get better rebound. Moses said in his opening presser, you can't be afraid of contact. You can't be afraid of getting knocked down and knocking someone else. The knocking someone else down. Bro, we running you over. See, and you know what, like, you know what else I'm looking forward to for the season? Like, Fears being the, man, we starting shit. Appreciate y'all, man. Hit the like button. I don't say it enough throughout the show and stuff like that, but appreciate y'all, dog. Y'all tapped in still in. Like, again, this is a Monday morning. We just shooting this shit, bro. I hadn't done an episode in a while on like the Pels and the blender. So we just basically, running it. So make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Appreciate y'all, for following, subscribing, and all of that. Make sure y'all share the channel. Mosley's courtside activity with the refs will help our free throw attempts. I don't know how many free throw attempts the Magic used to get, but hopefully it's something you can see more attempts at the line. That's a good point, because what I think will happen is I think what's his fucking name, man? Oh, what did I say? It is Tuesday. What did I say? Did I say Monday? What day did I say? I said Tuesday earlier. If so, appreciate y'all during the week. Appreciate y'all during the week, man. Tapping in. For sure. I said Tuesday this morning when I started. Y'all be throwing me off sometimes too. We be talking so the mind be rambling. I think that Mosley's sideline activity actually will be a benefit for the team because Willie Green was trying to, I just said it was Monday. Hey, bro, we all make mistakes. Players fuck up. You know what I mean? Players fuck up. But I think Mosley's going to be really good because Willie Green, in my opinion, was too inactive on the sideline, in my opinion. Like, and then another thing, when Willie Green like said that tech shit publicly, when he came up, was like, I ain't trying to get no tech either. I think the team that, like, you know how certain things your team just slowly lose respect for you. I think that was one of the significant moments where like the team was like, man, this dude don't really have our back. He said out loud he wasn't trying to get fined. You ain't willing to pay the money to like defend them with how you know they foul our guy. That's a big deal. So like you want to see your coach in the press conference be like, this is unacceptable, like pissed off at when your team is getting cheated, in the fouls. That sets the tone and that let your team know, listen, bro, I believe in what we're doing, not just, hey man, you got to play through it. Like, yeah, we understand you got to play through it, but that don't mean it's still bull, right? Like it's still BS and you need to address it so we could be mentally tapped in to coach got our back. So I'm going to go out there and do what coach is telling me to do because I know he's going to complain. And again, man, Zion is one of the most poorly officiated players in the league. If you allow Zion to consistently get fouled that way, he's eventually going to get hurt. He's eventually going to get hurt. That's just the way it is. Man, y'all had some great. So I do think it's gonna make a difference with the free throws and stuff like that too. Moses actually gonna throw F-bombs at the ref. I'm like, no, you have to hold them to an expectation to call the game a certain type of way. It's like, who else gets a terrible, like Herb gets a terrible whistle. Herb gets a terrible whistle for being, a respected defender throughout the league. If you could do something to where Herb Jones can get a Lou Dort-like whistle, and we'll see what Lou Dort whistle is like now that he's in Atlanta and not in OKC. But if you can, kind of, I don't want to say complain, but if you can like antagonize the refs enough or stay on the refs enough to where Herb Jones is allowed to play a more physical style defense without being in foul trouble all damn game, that helps your team as well. That helps everybody. So I do think that's what Mosley brings to the table. Good question. Do you think Trey fits that mindset you want the team to adapt to? I think he will if that's the mindset of the team. Like, I think you can like assimilation. I think like he can assimilate to what's going to be the environment, because that's typically how things go, right? If you got a team full of dudes that play relatively soft, then like you'll be the odd guy playing the physical style if they're not promoting that internally. But if internally they're like, man, Trey, you got to fucking turn up, you got to knock somebody over, you got to do this, you got to do that, then it'll make it more appealing for him to play that style, I think. So, and to be fair, as far as like people calling Trey soft, I look at it this way also. Willie Green never really liked Trey, right? For whatever the reason is. Like Willie Green and Trey didn't have like the greatest relationship. So I don't think there was much belief or support in pushing Trey to be the most physical version of himself, or the best, not saying not they didn't want him to be successful, right? But if you took a liking to Trey and was sent Trey as the Birmingham, if you was trying to invest in Trey, you could have been telling, like, and I know they were telling Trey you need to be better defensively. Don't get me wrong, but personally, I'm the kind of guy where, like, you see how Mosley is like. I think Daly is just like, yo, we did like just drilling shit into your head. You almost got to brainwash the team into being like, this is what we got to do. So I think by now you could have had a consistent physical. I don't think Trey would have been like the most physical, but could he have been a more physical player? Absolutely. But I think you got to like instill that and emphasize that. So like, it might come more naturally to some players than others, but if you coach a team right now, right, and you're trying to make your team more physical, you can like mentally all season just brainwash your team and to be like, listen, if we not gonna do anything, this is what we gonna do. And Joe Dumars made a good point. Joe Dumars made the point in his press conference when he was talking about Mosley. It's not about what you go into the game for, it's about what you come out of the game for, right? If they make it a point that, yo, this level of physicality or intensity is not enough and you getting subbed out for that, then that player will make it a point because everybody want to play. That player will make it a point to do the best version of whatever that is for them. So I'm not asking Trey to be as physical as a Zion level, like your frame not like built that way. But can he go be relentless on the boards to the best of his ability? Absolutely. Can you be stronger in your defense? Absolutely. You rather knock a motherfucker down and let him drive by you? Absolutely. Can you fight through a screen? Well, like, listen, man, I'm running through. I'm like, I'll take a foul where you're chasing through a screen and they call a foul because you were physical as hell trying to get through the screen. I could live with those kinds of plays. That's the kind of stuff you need to be emphasizing, in my opinion. Trey will be fine if Mosley and his staff set the right standards. And that's the thing. That's gonna also, you're gonna have to be that to compete with the other teams in the league. You're gonna have to be that to compete with the other teams because as of right now, like, you're talented, but I know DeJounte is going to try to play a physical style. I know Fields is going to try and play a physical style. I think Herb is going to do his best to play a physical style. I know Sadiq Bey is going to play a physical style. You need Eves to be more physical than what he has been. You know Z going to be physical. You need Queen to be a more physical version of himself, right? Bryce, for the most part, again, slender frame, but he was contesting defensively and stuff like that. If you can get all of those dudes to buy in and just be a more physical version of themselves and like, yo, man, this shit weak, we ain't standing for it. Like, I'd rather foul you than give up the layup. And not like, no, and I hate when we give like weak fouls. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude was gonna make it and you you didn't want foul, so you lazily hit him. It's like, no, bro, if you beat, I'm fouling you. Like, there will not be no and ones. And I ain't saying you gotta go, hit him across the head. But like, if you gonna foul that motherfucker across his arm, Draymond foul that dude, bro. Swipe across the arm. Wrap him up. Wrap him up every time. Every time. If you establish your team is physical, that's how you get up. And exactly, that's how you get the whistle. Bro, you see that in every sport. They're not calling it every. And then after a while, once they keep calling, if they do call it and you be like, fuck it, we doing it anyway. Like, at some point, you know what's going to happen? If you done that to a team all game, fouling these motherfuckers all game, eventually you going to wear them down. That's the same thing with a physical style of basketball also. If we attack in the paint relentlessly and we playing physical defense relentlessly, can you physically and mentally stand up to it throughout the course of the game? Can your opponent physically stand up to that? Like, can you fucking handle Zion driving to the paint every game, consistently every game? and not at some point be like, fuck, bro. He's constantly like Fizz living at the paint. Like, it's like a run game, bro. The offensive run game. When you got like great run game, not a great run game, and this just like throughout the game, it might not start off as strong, but like throughout the course of the game, teams, that's how you break big runs. Teams just wear down over the course of the game. I'm not trying to get fouled all game. It's only certain players and certain teams that's going to be able to like stand up to that level of physicality. That's why, especially during the regular season, that's how Detroit wins 60 games. Think if you play that style every game, though, a fucking team ain't gonna want, like, let's say your team, you playing Atlanta. Though Atlanta off a back-to-back flying into New Orleans, right, for a fucking game when they just like flew from New York or something like that. Man, them dudes not trying to go play no team that's fouling you all game physically. Like, don't nobody want to play that style in the regular season. That's how you get teams to win that's how you turn it around in the regular season. If that's your consistent style of play, like your underlying will be 40 wins. That's why, in my opinion, you got teams like Orlando, like with Mosley, they were just able to get the 40 wins. And if you got a talented team and a healthy team, 45 to 50 easily, because ain't nobody trying to do that shit like for the regular season. Like, you just don't. If you hooped, ain't nothing wrong with hitting some dudes across the head too. Yeah, sometimes you gotta set the tone. And that's cool. That's cool too. Every so often, like, somebody keep trying you. Listen, I don't want them to do it, but if they sign like a Draymond Green, I would not be mad, bro. I would not be mad. He'd be thrown out of every game and shit like that, but like the level of intensity would be up 100%. 100%. A team takes on the identity of his coach. Weak coach, weak team, tough coach. Like that, exactly. And you gotta hold them to the standard, though. Listen, that shit was weak, bro. Like, which is why when people don't remember this. If yeah, you can't do it. I know. That's why I know you can't do it. You can't. Poole immediately ask out. Dog. Draymond and Fizz will be fighting all the time. Now, he might love Fizz, but you know Fizz gonna talk his shit regardless. Draymond already got issues with Yaxel, so we don't need a Draymond, but like, that's why I wouldn't have minded Stewart. You know what I mean? Isaiah, if you bring in Isaiah Stewart, that's cool. Somebody who helped coach a set, something like that. And you know what else? Like, I personally think you need a big bodied center as well. Like Drummond is just fucking like just a big dude, right? That helps. It helps to play a physical style when you got a true fucking big guy out there. Like, if you brought in Steven Adams is like, yo, that's a big dude. Like you're not just pushing around Steven Adams. And if we got to fight, it's nice to have a Steven Adams dude on your side. Like, I think more than anything, also, it'd be nice to have an enforcer. Like, that's what I like about Desmond Bane, dog. Desmond Bane a bully, bro. Desmond Bane be bullying them little dudes out there. Throwing the ball at people. Fucking give Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks would be a prime candidate to add to this team with the mindset. Dog, if you put Dylan Brooks on this fucking team, and like, he got winning intangibles. I don't care what nobody say, and his game is starting to come along. But if you put Dylan Brooks on this team, I'd be like, yo, we a playoff team. 100%. Because I know the mindset, he gonna charge that shit up. And every game throughout the season, when you got to deal with a Dylan Brooks type player and a Dylan Brooks type team, that's how you compete. Teams not trying to do that during the regular season, bro. Like, look at the teams that really play like a physical style. throughout the league. And the NBA not really pushing for a physical style of play anyway. So more teams are like finesse teams. Like Cleveland is a finesse team. The Knicks can play physical, right? But during the regular season, they more of a finesse team too. Boston, more of a finesse team. Uh, Philly, a finesse team. Charlotte, a finesse team. Like Washington, I think gonna be a finesse team. Denver is a finesse team. They just the Lakers, I think, gonna be a finesse team. We'll see. Like Minnesota is more of a tougher team because they take on Ant personality, right? And then you still got Rudy and fucking McDaniels, like them dudes. So you got a certain level of physicality that's gonna be there. Houston plays a physical style. I think Phoenix gonna play physical because of Dylan. But like, bro, if you could play consistently, I think you're gonna have a better chance than you think this regular season if you could consistently play the style that Mosley wants to play. Like just looking at it, because again, man, like even if teams are at home, if you play a physical style, I'm picking you up 94 feet all game, dog. I'm tired. People be going out. You got to be disciplined as well, too. So if you get the physicality and the discipline, because another thing the Pelicans weren't is a disciplined team. Like we couldn't get in the offenses. We would make a lot of mistakes. We were like one of the worst turnover teams. If you could get all of those little things also under wraps, I think you'll have a good opportunity to compete against most of the teams in the league. And talent-wise, you gonna have incredible, like you realistically, you can have like a personal matchup damn near against everybody in the league, right? Because I'm looking at it, look at the teams with rookie players, right? You got San Antonio, Dallas, and that let's look at the West. San Antonio still got Dylan Harper. So I need Fears to outplay Dylan Harper. But we match up well against them too. But like I want to win that matchup, right? Who else? You got, I think one, you got the Zion versus the Stars always. So you got Zion Wemby, Zion versus Ant. We need to see Zion take on, like, look at the next level of players as well. Like Zion need to look like the best player when an older KD steps on the court. You need to be the best player in the Houston. When y'all play Houston, Zion need to look like the best player. And I know that's saying a lot. The KD fucking 37. When Steph on the court, you need to look like the best player. The Clippers, you should look like the best. You should have the best player against the Clippers as well. Like at this point, you should be able to outdo Devin Booker as well. Who else? Memphis, you definitely should look like the better team against the Memphis team. Queen need to show a Boozer, I'm better than you. Who else? Sac, you shouldn't have no issues with Sacramento. Also, I need Jeremiah Fears to let Darius Acuff know, say, dog, like you need the you ain't gonna ever be a better player than me. Like you need to let it be known, hey dog, you gotta see me. Utah, same thing. Pels need a plan for Poole. Mosley's biggest weakness was offense. I gotta dog, listen, the plan for Poole, I said I would consider starting him, but I just don't think defensively you could do it. But I think playing Poole off the bench. Y'all don't think Poole gonna be a contributor? Like it's hard to say that Poole, because Poole historically had never been that bad, right? He had never been that bad with terrible coaching, and neither one of the coaching was willing to give him the opportunity to work through a lot of his issues, right? And then if you look at it, the record was better when he played than when he didn't. So even if you weren't like, even if you were saying that like Poole wasn't going to be great, you should have consistently played him because your team was better when he was on the court. Like the record just said that the record is better when he played than when he didn't. You just had more talent out there. And then again, at any moment for stretches in the game, there are moments in those games where Poole can go on the stretch, right? Like Poole can have a run during a stretch of a game where it's 2 threes, right? 3 threes, or get to the line, settle down the game. Like he's an X factor that a lot of teams that compete during the regular season gotta account for, because in the NBA, like the margins for most teams aren't necessarily that great. It's only like a good 2-3 minute window sometimes where you could put a team away, you could hold off a team, halt a run. But when you don't even have the volatility of it, I just think that limits like your output, right? That limits what you're capable of. So that's just my opinion. 4 quarters were bad. Second halves in general. You know, we known for the infamous third quarter. They'll play a decent first half, and in the third quarter, you either blow the lead, give it up, or whatever the situation is. So, like, second halves in general, you need to get together, but definitely you got to be more disciplined in the fourth quarter. But I personally think teams raise their intensity level, and then you're not able to meet the intensity level. But part of that is I don't think you playing with the right intensity level consistently throughout the game, right? Like, I personally thought the team was too cool, like had like a too cool for school attitude. Like they had been throughout most of their tenure, like, right? Like when Willie Green first got here, it was 36 wins, the 42 wins, the 49 wins. So they were seeing progress. Like, and they started feeling themselves. Like, even though you hadn't truly accomplished nothing, and then people were all like, you were always able to make the injury excuse. Oh man, if so and so don't get hurt, or if we only had this one, if we all, and then there were times during seasons where they were healthy, they would, they would look like a good team. So I think they come into the season like knowing that they're capable, but you just can't put it together consistently, right? If you start off desperate, if you start off with a level of desperation, dog, we gotta win game one. Like, I gotta have game one. We gotta have game two. Like, we playing physical from open and tip. I'm picking you up full court, open and tip. This is what it is all game. We crashing the boards all game. I'm fouling if we have to. We running through screens all game. If you play with that level of intensity, it's gonna be hard for teams to turn it up against you, right? And then when they do, you'll know, okay, we need to be able to pick it up another level. That becomes your baseline. So then when you do say, I need to give the little bit extra, you'll have the extra to give. That's just me. We need to be able to have Zion on the court for efficient 26 every night. Like, that should be the baseline, and we could build around that. I agree. You need that foundation. He got to be the best player, dog. Like, in most games, you got to, and he's capable of being the best player on any given night. You need to be the best player on the court on most nights. That's the difference. It's one thing to be the best player any given day, any given game. Zion comes, he can have, like, you be like, dog, this dude was incredible. The difference is you need to be the best player on most nights. It don't matter who out there. If the ability is there for you, you need to be able on most nights. They be like, dog, you know who fucking tough? Zion. There's nobody in the league that really could stop you. It's just you really stopping yourself. And if that's the case, that's a mental thing that you just got to get in your mind. Like, dog, I'm about to dominate everything. Everything. From game one, defensively, bitch ain't nothing at the rim. We blocking all of that. Even if I'm following you. Like, you might have got it, you might have scored, but it's like, ooh, I almost had that one. Like, that relentless intensity of I'm going to dominate you is what this team, in my opinion, was missing the most during during the down stretch of the last 2 seasons. They just lost. And then once you lose the confidence, other teams just be like, oh man, they trash. They're trash. And then you let go of the rope too soon. So they had games where they fought back and stuff like that, but I don't think they truly like believed. I just think you was out there fighting. Right? Like you just didn't want to look. You were fighting to not look bad, not fighting like, no, we should be beating the fuck out y'all. That's a different mentality. Like when you playing a team, it's like, dog, we about to beat the piss out y'all. That's the mindset you need to come into the game with. He's one of the most infuriating players to watch. I don't care what the stats say. He fails the eye test consistently. I don't think who we talking about? Z? I don't think Z fails the eye test. I don't think he fails the eye test. I think the mentality is there. Do you think Hawkins gets traded away? Poole could be a six man. Poole definitely gonna be one of your first rotation players off the bench. Oh, that was about Poole. Personally, what I think would be the most successful version of Poole is if they go back to playing him more off ball and give him a lot more of the catch and shoot opportunities that he had when he was in Golden State. If you give him those, I think he'll be all right. Catch and shoot opportunities and then be able to create a little bit because he can still get to the paint at will. He can finish around the rim and stuff like that. But if you give most of his offense like secondary offense and try not to make him a primary, a primary creator and stuff like that, I think you'll be fine. So that would be my plan. That would be my plan for JP. Treat him and Trey catch and shoot situations. Catch and shoot situations. Trey was a more impactful player when he played off ball more. And that's not to say that he can't have moments where he plays, where he creates stuff like that or make a move. But if he's more in the catch and shoot situation, I think you'll see a better version of Trey, a better version of Poole. But everybody got to do their fucking job. Like DeJounte got to do his job of creating. Z got to do his job of creating. Fears got to do his job of creating as well. Sadiq Bey is good in the catch and shoot situation as well. So that would be like my plan for them. Zion and Queen double big lineup. I was telling Chaz last night that there's gonna be moments during the games where you see they go to it, and Queen got a rebound. Zion got a rebound too. Don't get me wrong. Like everybody on this team got a rebound. I think they're gonna be better like a gang rebounding team. But like if Queen rebounds, you absolutely will see lineups with him and Zion because realistically they should be more, I don't want to say athletic from like Queen's standpoint, but like Zion is a mismatch for most players. And Queen's playmaking ability, his ability to pass the ball and score should give it should give him some advantages against some of the fives as well. Like them dudes shouldn't really be able to guard you on the perimeter like that. You just gotta stop the fucking the playing with the ball. You need to be more decisive. That's what I'm looking for Queen as well. Some of the second half was coaching, no adjustments when other team adjust. That's another thing too. You had no plan B. Zero plan B. A team will go into the half and be like, all right, we're gonna do. They'll just take the game a little more seriously. They'll make one or two adjustments, and then it take you too long to make said adjustment. Now, one of the things in Orlando, they said that was something that they were concerned with Mosley as well, is he wasn't great at adjusting during games also. So we'll see if that's something to be concerned about moving forward. What is Mosley's adjustment when teams adjust to you? I ain't gonna lie, part of me always was like, dog, I'm coming into the game with 2 game plans anyway. I'm coming in with the first half game plan. All right, boom, this is what we're doing. We're going to do this until they can stop that. And then I'm coming, like, once they make the adjustment to that, it's like, all right, cool. Now let's go with the air raid. Let's go with the air raid. I know that's not, like, realistic. You got to be able to have, like, other options and stuff. But that's why you practice technically for everything. Like if you need to be able, to play at least two different types of ways if you're not good enough to just beat people with your plan A. If you're not good enough to beat people with your plan A, then you got to strategically be able to outthink people, sometimes and outsmart people, and come up with like some like example. If from a talent level, like a skill level standpoint, let's say you're an average team. It's like, okay, well, at certain points in the game, we got to do some shit where it's kind of like, all right, boom, we'll come up with like a version of a trap or something like that to like cause turnovers or some kind of. You need to be able to also get easy buckets. That was another thing that we struggle with as well. So like you need to have in your offense ways to create easy buckets for your team to sustain when like things aren't going well, or let's say the offense gets stagnant. Obviously, you're supposed to call plays and ATOs and all of that. You need to be able to be really good at stopping the bleeding. All right, boom. Here's something that we could go to that's just gonna like make the game easy for us. It's like a quick out of bounds play that gets you an easy layup. Works every time. Be able to call your Delilah, your Rhonda, whatever you need, dog. Whatever you need. You cannot go through games, the entire game, doing the same shit and like think when another team adjusts and they actually start stopping you. Is like, okay, we need to, like, we just gonna keep doing this and eventually it's gonna work. No, you gotta learn to pivot. You absolutely gotta learn to pivot. Plan B, plan C, all of those things. Mosley famously in the playoffs not good at stopping the bleed. Absolutely. You saw the game 6 comeback. And again, that's not just in that game, right? He's had in previous playoff series, not being able to adjust. And what I hope is that he's learned from those experiences, similar to a Mike Brown, right? Mike Brown was one version of a coach. And then when he got to a next stop, picked up something else and learned something else. Mike Brown, again, he's been around for a very, very long time. So, and he has a lot of experiences to lean on. So what I'm hoping is, and in this next stage of Mosley's career, he doesn't try to do it exactly the way he did in Orlando, because you already know what the results were from doing it that way. You can have a foundation, absolutely, but you have to be able to grow from what your experiences were, right? You need to lean more offense at times. You need to be more creative at times. And we'll see what that looks like, right? But there are certain things that you got to do. Like, in my opinion, the reason the Knicks turned the switch in the playoffs, when they were playing Atlanta the first couple games and they were struggling, everything was centered around Brunson. They were playing the way that they had always played, Brunson and everybody else. And then when they made the transition to start playing through Karl-Anthony Towns, and it was getting more people involved. Brunson was able to pick his spots, wasn't as worn down. Like, you saw that team just take off. And they could have been playing. And again, Mike Brown said during the season, though, we had multiple different things that we were trying throughout the season. Now, again, that's a championship level team who had been making the playoffs consistently and found a way that had worked, that had got them to an Eastern Conference Finals before they adjusted. So can we at least just get the baseline version of it first, right? And then we can worry about it. But you absolutely right. You do need to be able to adjust. Does McGowan get game time? Absolutely. I think McGowan's gonna be if he's healthy, he's gonna be like a true rotational player on the wing. As one, I like, if the shooting was good, the defense was good, it was athletic, like a low usage guy, catch and shoot. Like he'll get his opportunities. Zion needs that I don't care attitude. I'm the best on the floor consistently every game. I want Zion to start at the 2, Queen at the 4. What your starting lineup would be with something like that? I'm guessing you talking so that would have to be DeJounte, Zion, Trey, Queen, Eves. DeJounte, Zion, Trey, Queen, Eves. I can see that. Because what's his name? Joe Dumars had been talking about wanting to do 2 big lineup anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to consider playing something like that. The only question I guess you would have is the shooting. The shooting. You would have to fucking dominate inside the paint. You would have to dominate, and like Queen, Eves, and Z would have to live at the line and shit like that. Like you would have to physically just dominate the paint to start a lineup like that, because you just don't have like ideal spacing. That's the part that would be tough. We never was a ran when we kept running and working to play until it stopped. That's something that we'll do. I think we'll see more of that, where it's just kind of like, again, they was doing it in summer league. It was like, listen, if somebody don't stop something, like, well, we're gonna keep attacking it until you stop it. So I absolutely could see that being a staple of what they try to do this season for sure. Mosley pushes Zion to be the guy he's supposed to be. Zion on a contract year, dog. He better. Zion got every incentive. Next year is not guaranteed. Like, if they don't give Zion the extension this summer, right, which I personally don't think Zion going to get an extension this offseason. But if Zion don't get an extension this offseason, no, you playing for the money. Like, you playing for the money, bro. And every year you got the contract year online, you see on the line, you see NBA players have their best years that they can have. When the money on the line, you see dudes show up. Look how Z look. He know the money on the line. This, like, not the expiring year. This year is the year where you got to do what you got to do to go get paid. Because if you get to the expiring year and you hit free agency, ain't no, like, teams not just going to be, one, they don't even really be having the money to give you like that. You would probably end up getting traded and hope for like a Trae Young-like situation, right? Nah, dog. This year the year where you need to have, like, the team need to have a good season, and he personally needs to have a good season so he can say, look, I want 45 and up. 45 and up, you need to be an all-star minimum. We need to be in the playoffs at minimum. Like, why would I give you 45 and we ain't won 30 games? So, like, go get your money, dog. A player like Zion is better for stopping runs because he gets to the rim with ease. Paolo wasn't like that. That's another thing. Paolo was, a little reliant upon the jumper. So, again, at any moment, Zion could go get a layup. Fears could live at, and that's another thing, too. I don't think Orlando had the guard play that Will have, because Suggs wasn't really a scorer like that. Fears is more of a scorer. He'll be able to get to the rim, stop runs, especially if he's, better at finishing around him. It's DeJounte should be able to help with some of that. Poole should be able to help with some of that. I think our guard play is going to be better than Orlando's guard play. That was the biggest problem for you. I hope Mosley does make changes and adjustments earlier now after the game gets away. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Not Turner. DeJounte, Zion, Trey, Queen, Turner. I think Turner, that's not a bad starting lineup because Turner can space the ball. Turner can space the floor. I'm becoming more open to trading for Miles Turner because I'm just of the mindset as I want to add a good player every season. Like, I just want to add talent every season in some way, shape, or form. It don't have to necessarily be Miles. I would love it to be Khalil Ware because I think that's a cheaper version of that. But again, if you add Miles, I don't think Miles is a bad player. So I wouldn't be mad. If they really told Zion to just drive and not shooting all 3 levels, they studied his potential. I don't know what they told him. But I know he admitted to having like the confidence issue, so that's partly on him. I think his confidence took a hit, to be honest, because you don't go from the Zion that shot 4 threes in the beginning to where, again, he hasn't his career, he's never been like percentage wise a good 3-point shooter. What he needs to understand is it don't matter if you're a good 3-point shooter from a percentage standpoint. Like, not that the percentage don't matter at all, but for him, it's not about the percentage. If Zion shot like 4 threes, like just consistently shot 4 threes a game and hit one, bro, we could live with you shooting 25% because you're so efficient at the rim. So like Zion shooting 1 for 3 from 3, when realistically he don't shoot the 3 often, but when he shoot them, he make them. He just don't shoot them that often. We don't know what his percentage would be because he don't shoot consistently enough. He don't shoot consistently enough. That's in his eyes. Me shooting threes feel like he's giving a no, bro. That's why mentally it's been an issue for him. But again, it's not you letting them off the hook. It's you being confident that no matter what, this bitch going down. Like I'm the guy is going down. And if you hit, and that's the thing, after he shot the one that he hit, he didn't shoot another one. It's like, bro, if I shot one and made my last one, why wouldn't you be confident enough to be like, well, fuck, let me shoot another one. That one felt good. Let me shoot another one. That one felt good. You just got to be confident enough to like keep doing it and like just believe in the work. And you believe in the work, you just not doing it in the game. You're not going to make all of them. Keep shooting them holes. Keep shooting them holes. Fierce put Suggs on his pocket. Say, dog, I'm taking our guard play. I'm taking our guard play. It was the coach. They discontinued his sneakers. He needs that NBA contract money. Listen, I bought one of the last pairs of the Zions when he came out with the Voodoo edition. The New Orleans specific Voodoo edition, the purple and gray Z's. I got those. They got another pair I was gonna buy. They got like a brown version of those. I'll probably get them too. Chris Criff said he kept driving because he was doing what was asked of him from coaches but 3 sides to a story. Listen, man, I believe that they was telling them to continue to attack the paint because from a coaching standpoint, you want him to attack the paint. But I think Zion just Zion need to be better. Zion has been impactful enough in games enough to where Z know what he need to do to have impact on the court. He just got to go and do it. You can't allow, like, he been playing basketball for too long, bro. You shot middies, but it was the same shit with Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons used to shoot the ball, then all of a sudden he didn't. But you need to mix up your game. You can shoot. Just shoot that hole. Just shoot it. I was like, it's fine. It's fine. But I do think Mosley is going to encourage him enough to say, we can live with you shooting the 3. Like, it's okay with you shooting the 3. I'm okay with you shooting the midi. You worked on your game enough, it's going to be fine. He's confident as I've ever seen him right now. I'm all for a big year. I'm calling. I think so too. The confidence is the big dog. In sports in general, it's all about confidence. Confidence is like half the battle. Like, yeah, you got to have, ability and do the work and all of that. Yes, but like, you can't be successful without the confidence to go out there and no, man, I can do this. Like, I can stop that guy. I can make this shot. I could get to the rim. Like, I'm better than them. Right? But you also got to put the work in behind that. I want them to come with the physical mindset. We about to beat y'all up. To be honest, that's the kind of thought process I want. He needs that Deion Waiters mindset. I'd rather go 0 for 19 than 0 for 5. That means you lost your confidence. I agree. Because, again, previous to this season, I had never seen Zion consistently, like, lay on his sword. Pause. Like, fall on, like, just kind of let go of the rope. I felt like they let go of the rope too many times this year. Like, and again, I understand, like, physically, he probably didn't trust his body. That's what I thought. I thought he was trying to get through the season. Right? Look, my contract not guaranteed. Joe said I gotta play these games. I gotta show that I can stay healthy and play. Right? So it was kind of one of those, we ain't really, my use is not up. I'm not like, and then when he had the because early Zion was playing, you know, like the Zion we know, 29, 9 and 8, blocks, steals, all of that shit. He had the early injury, and then it was like, oh shit. And then after that, it was pick your spots, cruise control, and especially once the team started losing, once the team, like, you're not about to kill yourself and y'all not good, right? So I just think it was like, let me get my games played, and we'll get to, we just trying to get out the season. From a business standpoint, that was smart. Like, he played 62 games last year. He could have played more games, but it's just kind of like, let me get my consistent numbers. Let me do just enough. It wasn't I'm trying to go win. I'm trying to fucking win, Zion. Like, at all costs, I'm trying to win. Like, that's the mindset that you need. Not, I'm trying to get my numbers. I can tell the difference from players that's trying to get their numbers and dudes that's giving it everything they have, you know what I mean, throughout the game. Last year was the first year to me where Z like did not have that intensity that he typically plays with. And that's just me. I don't know him personally, obviously, and I can't speak for him, but that's what I saw when I watched the games. Like, you can't watch Zion historically, and even in games that they lost, right? In games that they lose, you saw Z, and he had it at moments. Man, let me fucking turn up. Let me take over 4 quarters. He go on like certain stretches, but it's just kind of like now, and maybe he felt like his game hadn't elevated enough to where he was able to more easily take over. That's what the elevating your game happens as well, because maybe he wanted to, but just, you know, the drive spin move ain't there. Like, now we on that shit, we didn't seen it enough, you know what I'm saying? So now you got to start adding more stuff. I gotta have a midi, I gotta be able to spin pump, go back to the right, I gotta dunk on this motherfucker this time, I gotta shoot the 3. So like, it's different versions of it, but you gotta be able to figure it out. Whatever you have been doing, it got to the point where it wasn't working. So your game need to elevate. Your intensity level need to elevate. Everything need to elevate for you to be, you know, the best version of yourself. And then we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But man, I done done 2 hours on a Tuesday morning, man. I appreciate y'all so much, though. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. This was just a fun episode again, bro. Like, if to recap, we talked about a lot. Couple games. We really want to talk about that. I'm going to next year at Minnesota, at Orlando, the France game, Spurs at France, Atlanta. I catch y'all in Atlanta, and then LA. And then the LA game. Games that y'all should, if y'all in certain cities, that y'all should consider, appreciate it, dog. Absolutely. Zion like Bo Jackson, the Tecmo Bowl. Run them bitches over, dog. Run them over. Try and get through it. Biggest games that we gonna want to see next season, that if y'all could go to those games, you should consider going to. The Philly versus Boston. Philly back and Jaylen Brown return to Boston. That shit gonna be an elite game. Miami in Milwaukee. That should be a great rivalry, intense game. Steph versus Brunson in New York, Madison Square Garden, taking on Brunson, the new, well, ain't the new king of New York, but definitely king of New York. Who's the best little player in the league, little guard in the league, small guard in the league? That should be interesting. Washington versus Dallas, with AD back to Dallas. Bron versus LA. That should be interesting. They got so many good games, good matchups. Oh man, I didn't even think about it. Fizz back in Chicago against Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson in Atlanta against Atlanta. Queen versus any Baron J. I need the Queen versus Baron J because that's the smoke. I need Queen versus all the young bigs right now too. Johnson, Mara. If he playing Boozer, right? You said them dude versus all them dudes. I need you to show out versus all of them. And we need Trey. Like we need Trey to take a step. I want Trey to take a step. So like it's a bunch of interesting games. Trey versus Indy, right? Them people want trade for you, but they don't want to give up all of the picks and shit. They don't want to give up the trade. Man, go out there and bust their ass. Let them know why they should have gave up whatever they should have to trade for you. But man, that's gonna do it for me today, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, bro. On that Tuesday, I got it right. Tuesday morning, man. Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all afternoon. A Davis, Pels in the Blender. I'm out. Y'all stay safe. Peace.